A warm welcome. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from the economic capital of Nigeria, Lagos, Enterprise Television. It is. I am Henry Ingwibike.
And I'm Choma Koya.
All right, we'll be heading for our newspaper headlines this morning, and right after that, also will be our main conversation also for today. We would love that you be part of our community, have a say in what we say. You can always find us at enterprisetvnews.com, and also you may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. With us today to look through all we have newspaper review segment, and maybe possibly right after that will be our main conversation is Barrister Evans Ufeli, Barrister and the Public Affairs Analyst. Good morning to you, Barrister.
Good morning. Thank
And
you.
welcome.
My pleasure.
Beautiful. All right, so let's kickstart today with the first daily on our desk. Choma.
Yeah, we're starting with the Daily Trust newspaper. And the top strip of the Daily Trust newspaper, you have PDP governors meet over party's crisis today.
All right, that is a very interesting one. Ipman hopes for lower price as talks with Dangote begins. Let's see how that possible, how that will be.
Yeah, Nigerians look forward to it.
Definitely.
High hopes.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, still at the top strip, amidst 27 million housing deficit, many estates unoccupied in Abuja.
All right, and at the bottom strip here, we have severe malnutrition rises by 51% in the northern part of Nigeria.
Okay, Fulani known for peace, not violence. That is coming from Emir Ozazan.
All right, but let's look at the big story here. Lagdo Dam, high risk states brace for floods. And we have the right here that NIMET predicts thunderstorms or moderate rains in Taraba, Borno, and others. And the second rider, government ask residents to relocate, set up IDP camps. About Stefan Sofeli, we know this is floods are inevitable, but of course it can equally be caused either naturally or man-made. Where if you take a look at Milton that ravaged the Florida and the United States,
Yes.
Helene and so on, those were purely natural based
Natural.
disaster.
Yes.
This is human cause. And the excuses given by government asking people to relocate and setting up IDP camps is that the best solution
At their own cost. At their own cost. Not to government is not going telling you they are going to build the IDPs. Just say they should relocate with immediate effect to go. That's not how government should communicate. When you talk about that of Florida, I have a client in Florida. In fact, last night we were talking, and he said that at some point, those who have their houses on the low topography area of that the water was so high above the roofs of people. And now so many people have not been found. Dead bodies that have been picked more than 1 million people. Okay, so that is the United States. Okay, but this one we know. They said the last time it happened was in 123 years ago. Was the last time they had it this this severe and all that. Okay. So, but here, our own case is an issue of dam, it's not a hurricane, it's not storm.
Yeah.
It's a dam because during the raining season, we know that this dam rise and the deposit point is the Nigerian side of the slope when they open it at Cameroon. They open it there also because if they don't, water will overrun them. So the water needs to go to its natural path, not like they are wicked. They have to release it to flow to its natural habitation or natural way, which is an act of God, not really man-made. So when we know this, we are aware that between June to August, October, November, we used to have this. Why don't we do something about the lives of those persons who are usually affected? There are 5 states that are usually affected, in that axis. So by now, it's either you change the structure of the housing in those areas, or you build alternative for them, or maybe you build country homes for them where once is that time of the year, they pack their belongings and go to the country home to stay until the water abates. But we're not doing that. Rather, we're issuing like almost like warning that they should leave that place with immediate effect. To where? In this economy. You understand? You know what it will cost even to get this wood, even plywood, to build a tent. It's almost like you are building a house, like you'll be spending. You understand? So there's a place where the government need to intercept and provide that security for the citizens. Because when we say security and welfare, it's not only when insurgents are shooting and people are being kidnapped. Security has to do with self-preservation, even from natural disaster. Okay, so if the government cannot do anything, they can take the ecological fund of that state and go build those tents.
But
Okay, thank you, Barrister Evans. At this point, looking at the fact that they get in free with donations most of the time, looking at what happened in Borno the last time.
Yes.
That's the thing that's why they resorted to just telling them to go to IDP camps because they get relief materials, they get donations, they get the sympathy, especially from international bodies. And if they should tackle the problem, those funds won't come in.
Well, that is neither here nor there. I mean, a government should not rely on aid because you are going to get money from it. Therefore, you will not do anything about it until the water comes. That is crooked. It's retrogressive thinking. For any governor or any government to rely on aid that is not defined. Okay, how about people don't give? What will happen? So people will just, So what the government need to do, because the truth is that the regions are not doing much. The regions are not doing much. You know what your governors do? They just pack all the money and put in their pocket and just keep. Look at what they're doing to local government. I mean, they are not doing much. And each time we're talking, looking at Abuja, looking at the president. What will it cost for a government to build low-cost housing in high areas that are not affected by water? How much is it going to cost a state, okay, to go to an area where you know that cannot be affected by flood and then build houses for the citizens? Let them pay, through a system. You can come up with or hand it over to a mortgage bank for the payment to manage they can do their farming and pay over 15, 20 years. As long as they are safe, you build roads for them. What would it take a state government to do that? You understand? You are not constructing road. The states don't have roads. You are not empowering them. You are not building hospitals. You are not funding the schools. In some of these schools, primary and secondary schools, children sit on the floor. You are not doing anything. All through in my state, during Okowa's regime, before I took him to court, in a space of 4 years, he built a 3-kilometer road in my local government. In a space of 4 years, 3-kilometer road, that's what he did. And the road was even going bad as at the time we went to court. So what kind of governance is that? When you are not doing anything, I mean, it should bother you that you are holding the funds of the state in trust for the people. You are holding their land, you are holding everything in trust. And you're not able to deploy it to them. So it's a big issue. I think those who are affected should not take that statement from government to back to IDP camps. The government should go and build a place, not camp, build housing facilities. For these people are citizens. The Constitution says that nobody should be subjected to any dehumanizing condition. They are citizens. So citizens are not expected to go to IDP camps. This is not an emergency. It is not an emergency. We know that water will come by this time.
Sure.
So it's during emergency that you go to IDP. This is not, yes, it's not an emergency. It's a natural, we know that at this point, people will be displaced.
Thank you, Barrister Evans. Looking at our time, let's get into another newspaper. And the next newspaper on our desk is
The Nation. We have the big story here. PDP crisis. A factional chairman defies a court order.
Okay,
Resumes.
on the top strip, we have Sanwo-Olu is first passenger as red rail lines rose up. Details are on page 7.
And also we are seeing massive demand investment in CNG.
Okay, moving on. NDLEA intercepts 22.7 billion drugs in Lagos rivers. And another story there, Ayeda Tiwa 73,000 naira minimum wage deceptive carrots. Deceptive carrots, says PDP. Details are on page 6 and 7.
All right, and also we have a recapitalization. 5 banks bid for 1 trillion naira capital raising. Barrister Vansoveli, let's look at this. I know sometimes back, I think a couple of months back, we attended a workshop where we're talking about recapitalization and how that banks are not doing what they're supposed to do. Do you think this seems like an interesting story? 5 banks bid for 1 trillion naira capital raising. How bad is that financially?
Yeah, but they don't have a choice. If they want to remain afloat, they have to go and get this. Whatever they want to use to do it, they should do it. Some have been selling shares. Some have done, bonds, debentures. See, any way you can raise the money, that's the only way you can stay afloat. Because if you don't recapitalize, then you are going out. You can merge. You can go source for fund from wherever you want to source for that fund. And you can do anything you know within the law to ensure that you raise that fund to recapitalize between now and the deadline based on the threshold of the bank. Okay? It is critical that is done because many of the banks are very weak. Okay? We have statements flying here and there that some banks are having issues. They are doing off what they call it. They are doing maintenance. Some of this maintenance is a lie. They want to keep people's money for a while so that they can use it to meet regulations and then come back and settle them at a convenient time. That's what they're doing. So you are still going to have many banks between now and the future. Many of them will still go into this maintenance thing.
We're talking about less than $9 billion here. Less than $9 billion. So you see, when we say 1 trillion, it looks very humongous, but if we convert it to dollars, it's a paltry sum.
Well, but where is the fund? They say 90% of Nigerians have less than 500,000 naira in their account. 90% have less than 500,000 in their bank account.
That was a few months back. Before now, that
3 months back, when things were even a little bit better. Now people are withdrawing in a way that when you go to the bank, deposit is just from maybe 2-3 persons. Then withdraw because now is sustenance. The focus on and those ones that have gone to queue for withdrawal are people who have used Remitly, all those app where immigrants send money back home for survival, and it just domestic economics. It's for the home front, for survival, medicals, primary medication, medicals, food, transportation, for the home front.
Rent.
Yes, for the home front. You understand? So now a survival mood is where people are. I've been to places over the weekend. A friend drove me to a place to see someone who used to be an old friend of ours. When I got into the house, everyone was stuffy, and I was asking her, what's going on? She said, there's no light. I said, why? But there's light in the neighborhood. She said, they don't have money to buy power. So they'll just be in the darkness like that. That's just one of many. Okay? Even people you think they are living in highbrow areas, they are not, it's not funny any longer. Okay? So things are going bad.
Okay. Thank you, Barrister Evans. Lastly, let's look at this particular story. We are seeing massive demand investment in CNG. Most times, Nigerians say, do not trust what you see in the papers because sometimes it's contradictory true.
Especially the nation.
Especially the nation. So how well can we say they are seeing massive demand investments in CNG, looking at the current state of the country?
This massive demand in CNG, where is it located? Where is the place? I mean, massive investment in CNG and all that. Where? So, let them keep saying that until we see the effectiveness of that policy and what it is it delivers to us. Ordinarily, If not that, we are working across purpose ourselves. Ordinarily, Nigeria being an oil-producing nation, should not even be talking about that CNG. We should be discouraging it because it's our mainstay. We should be pumping and be campaigning for the use of fuel vehicles and all that. But because we are working at cross purpose, because even the fuel that is not even benefiting us because of our confusion. So we are not talking about CNG. CNG I know is the better because of the environment, because of green economy, climate change, and the rest of that. It's a better deal. But those who promote it more are those who have nothing to lose, really, who have a lot to lose, rather. They don't have oil, they don't have... so they promote that more and to push that, to ensure that the world now transits. Now that we're saying CNG, if we transit now, what do we make of our oil? Am I not analyzing it proper? Is it about CNG or about your ability to keep your economy in good shape and move on with life? So we are dabbling into a lot of things because of confusion.
Well, as much as we look at this, of course, we must equally, give honor to whom honor is due. Sanwo-Olu is first passenger as a red rail line rolls off. As commendable as that is, do you think Lagos has done enough for itself? How much is given, more is expected?
It's just that the red line, the blue line, they are in a limited area of the city. Yeah, just Oshodi to... Oshodi is not the only place in Lagos. How about a blue line coming from Island to Berger here?
Exactly.
Or terminate at the border between Ogun State and Lagos State. Yeah, then you would have... Because the re-commutation in Lagos is not Oshodi to VI or Oshodi to Orile. I know Oshodi is the center of Lagos, really, the center. From Oshodi you can access anywhere. That's the idea behind it. But how about the commuters from the mainland to the island? That is Lagos. Mainland to the island, that is Lagos. So they use the BRT to solve that problem. It didn't work because of the population.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a rail system that would take off from, say, Berger and terminate at Ozumbambadiwe across the sea? You understand?
Or TBS, at least.
Or TBS. From TBS,
Yes.
you can find your way. You understand?
Yeah.
Or Belande, you find your way. Why don't you have cable transport?
Tram.
From tram. Yeah, tram is also a very good one. In Dublin, it's tram I use all the time. Very effective. Why don't you have cable transport from Ogoroshoki to Obalende? Because that is just a one-way. It will take you less than 5 minutes to get there. So why don't we have... the BRT is the ones in the water. They are not effective. When they brought them newly, we thought it's going to be as effective as the ones on the road. But they are not. So why don't we explore the waterways too? And all that. I think Lagos State have a lot to do that they've not done. And they have the resources. They have the resources to actually transform this state. So that this state can become an example to other states. Other states will copy. I mean, the BRT system that was running in Lagos when they started is what was copied in Enugu.
Very true.
And I learned that it's very effective there.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we expand the coast and do, more?
Thank you, Barrister.
Very, very true. Well, that's just about the size of our package today. We'd love to say thank you to Barrister Evans
My pleasure.
for giving us your time. And
When we return, investigation underway as GIG Motors confirms kidnapping of Port Harcourt-bound travelers from Abuja. We'll be right back.